Hello and welcome to the YULLAX podcast. My name is Ron, and this is episode 11 of the YULLAX podcast. First podcast of 2025, and boy, hasn't has it been a year so far. Only 31 days into it, and let me tell you, a lot of things are shaken. So let's not talk about that. Things might evolve positively in a while, so we'll see. Anyways, right now, today, for the first topic of 2025, I thought I'd entertain you and a while and tell you some of my experiences in the beautiful city of San Diego, California. Yes, folks, I was lucky enough to go work there. Well, work there. I had a trade show. The company I was working for in 2009 was participating or exhibiting their products at this particular trade show that would move city to city through North America to exhibit our products. And that particular year was San Diego. And we're a Montreal based. I was working, anyways. The company was based in Montreal, still is. I'm no longer there. But, and I would cover a lot of offices through North America. We had nothing on the West Coast. We had Vancouver and whatnot, but not on the American West Coast. And the show for the first time was going to the West Coast, California. So I convinced my boss at the time to let me go a little longer, because what I told her back then, I said, listen, this is the first time we go there. And obviously it's expensive to do these shows and to travel there, the flights, hotel and whatnot. And so my idea was, let me go. I won't get a return ticket just yet. And if we have enough leads at the show to follow up with, I could stay like an extra week. She thought it was a brilliant idea, and so did I. So I left on a Monday morning, and I left. I think this is speculation, but I think it was not possible to buy, at the time anyways, a ticket from Canada to the States without a return date. I think it was not possible. Maybe it was. I have a feeling it wasn't, because I left from Burlington, Vermont. So I drove to Burlington. Then I flew out to California, and I would return at a later date, and it didn't really matter, right? So that was the plan. So I got there Monday. Tuesday was set up for the show. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday was the show. And at day 2, so on the Thursday, we had, a good amount of leads. So I called my boss and I told her, listen, we have so many leads. I think I'm going to stay. And because the office we had closest to there was in like the Midwest. So I talked to the rep from the Midwest who wasn't doing the show. I said, are you available next week? He was. Why don't you fly to San Diego? We'll follow up on these leads together. So that meant I had to spend the weekend in San Diego, expense paid, hotel and meals and whatnot. So it was a good gig. I was quite pleased with it. And I had a lot of fun. So I had never been to San Diego. I didn't know what to expect. I don't jog. I don't like jogging. But I jogged there. So what I would do is every morning, because of the time difference, I would get up at my time. So if I get up at 7 Eastern time, it's 4 o'clock in the morning there. So I would have breakfast, go out and jog around the hotel. I was at 1617 First Avenue. It was a Holiday Inn. It's no longer that. But it's a nice hotel. The architecture is round. It's a round building. It's kind of cool. But I mentioned the address because it's not right in the heart of things, but walking distance to everything I saw that week. I didn't have a car for now. So my plan, every morning I would go jog in different streets and see different things and kind of take mental notes of what I wanted to see at night, a bar, a restaurant, or whatever. And that's how I discovered a lot of things I will be talking to you about during this podcast. So, yeah, I was a bit tired because I would follow my morning Eastern time morning schedule, but go to bed Western that schedule. So it would make long days. But I was 47 back then. I was still a young man. I had a lot of energy, so that's what I did for the during the show anyway. So every morning I would go there, then go back, take time to shower and maybe relax. Maybe I took a nap. I can't remember. Then I would go do the show, and then at night to say, "Oh, I found this restaurant. Let's go there. Little Italy. Let's go there." The Gaslight, how do they call it? The Gas Lamp District, which is filled with bars and restaurants. Very nice place. And along the harbor, there's Harbor Drive. There's the Naval Museum that I discovered. There's also a USS museum. I didn't see that, but it's there. Then there's the naval base. It's the landscape is fantastic, so it's very nice. Then I have to talk to you about my Saturday because that was probably the peak of this trip. It was definitely the best business trip I had in my life because I got to enjoy things, discover a great city. And it was business wise, it was a good show. We did gather a lot of leads. We landed business and whatnot. So it was good for business, good for me. It's a win-win all over. And this is 2009, folks. Well, it's in September 2009. So we're just picking our pieces back up because the economy was terrible in 2008. As you can all remember, beginning of 2009 was not much better, and eventually it got better. And at one point, I thought we would cancel the show because the cash flow was hurting at the company. We were, cutting expenses, but those shows are a large investment. Part of it is already paid, so we did go. Anyways, so the Saturday we're done, and I'm doing the show with the same Jane I told you about in my tiger story. Let's call her Jane again, and Jane Doe, John Doe. So there's three of us doing the show, and it was understood that after the show on a Friday, we'd go out for dinner, and everybody was spending one last night there at the show in San Diego. So Friday night, we close the show, we wrap up everything, prepare the crates, ship them back, whatever. Then we go back to the hotel, shower, we go for dinner, and the next day is Saturday, so it's free day. Now, Jane had an evening flight. I think she was flying out on a red eye. It was a late, maybe 10 o'clock or something at night. As for John, he was flying out Sunday morning. So I knew what I wanted to do, and I was hoping to do this alone. I didn't want to be like the party pooper and say, I don't want to hang out with you guys. I didn't want to do that, but I was hoping I could get the opportunity to do whatever I wanted. So So I guess we went to breakfast or something. And so, what are you guys doing? What do you guys want to do? Blah, 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 blah. And Jane, all she wanted to go at this, there's like an old town Mexican type of area that's very cool, by the way. And John didn't know what to do. I wanted to go to the beach. So we're kind of not debating, but we're not in agreement to what to do. And then I said, you know what? Let's not bust our balls. Why don't we all do whatever we want, you know? And say, okay, good, no pressure. Let's meet back at the hotel around 4 or 5, shower. Jane had to check out. So she checked out Saturday morning. She brought her luggage in our room. I was sharing a room with John. And we all went our separate ways, or so I thought. So my thing, I'm going to Mission Beach. I looked it up. This is where I want to go. And there was a bus route. So I had like a t-shirt, shorts that I could go in the water with, like running shoes, my hotel key card, and a credit card. That's all I had. So I can go in the water. I can do whatever I want. So I take the bus to Mission Beach, and where I'll get off, there's this theme park or amusement park called Belmont Park. Now, for you Montrealers of my age that remember there was a Belmont Park here in Montreal, wasn't quite the same, but I mean, it resonated with me. So, oh, how cool. I didn't do any rides or anything, but it was cool to have that there. There's kind of a boardwalk. I went for a swim. I wanted to do so many things. Then I saw this bike rental place. So I said, can I rent a bike on a credit card? So of course, so I rented the bike on a credit card. And I just drove around for couple of hours. It was cheap. I was discovering things. It was unbelievable. I brought back the bike. I went back for a swim. Then I took the bus back, and I was satisfied. I was happy with my day. I didn't wear sunscreen. I don't think, anyways, because I was red as a tomato. Remember that. So I go back to my room, and I noticed that John's backpack is on the bed. And I said, oh, he's back already. So, all right. So maybe, I don't know where, he's not in the room. So I said, okay, let's not waste time. I go for a quick shower, I get back out, get dressed, have a beer. Then suddenly he comes into the room. I say, hey, how are you? What did you do? Oh, I had a boring day. I said, oh, really? He looks at me and says, what happened to you? Because I was red like a tomato. I said, oh, I went to Mission Beach. I took the bus. I rented the bike. I went swimming. I had a beer on the boardwalk. I had the greatest afternoon. He said, oh, fuck, I should have followed you. I said, why? What did you do? He says, I followed Jane. I said, so where did you go? Well, we went on the beach, but, I can't remember what beach they went to. And he says, I got bored after an hour because she's the type of girl that goes on the beach just for sunbathing. He wanted to go in the water. So I said, oh, fuck it. I came back to the hotel. I got a book, and I hung out at the pool for most of the day. I said, well, that's not bad. It was a beautiful day. He said, yeah, but obviously you had way more fun. So he went for his shower. I'm doing some stuff. And then we're waiting for Jane. Where the hell is Jane? Waiting. Oh, I have another beer. So then we try to call her. Can't reach her. Her phone is off. And her luggage is in her room. She has to come back. But now we're starting to worry, Then she finally shows up. She knocks, and she doesn't have a key. So she knocks on the door. I open the door, and there's Jane. Totally wasted. Hi, Ron! I said, oh, boy. You had a good day. Oh, the best day. John is going, son of a bitch. You know, everybody had a good time but me. I said, so what did you do? "Yeah, well, when he left me stranded on the beach, I went to, oh, what's the name? It's Old Town something. There's another word, but it doesn't matter. You can look it up. And she said, I went to, a couple of shops, this and that. Then I walk into a little bar. And I guess it was happy hour. So she says, I'll have a margarita. And she says, the glass is this big. You know those big margaritas? There's like 5 drinks in there. It's like a stylish shaped pitcher type thing. So, and I didn't pay. I don't know if the guy was hitting on me or was expecting something in return. But he said, no, no, it's on us. It's on us. Don't worry. And, talk to her and this and that. So she had a couple of those. So clearly she she was a little bit tipsy. And now it's like, I said, so what time is your flight? Now remember, it says 10 something. All right, so we have to bring you back to the airport by 8:30. So we have to get cracking and have dinner before you go. I should go, yeah, just give me 10 minutes. I'll shower and change, and we'll go. I said, okay. I look at my buddy. I said, listen, we can have a beer. There's no way a woman is going to be ready in 10 minutes. Well, this lady it's not a normal lady. She came out of the bathroom. She was dressed. Her hair was wet, but she was, all right, let's go. And, she just like that. Most amazing thing I've ever seen. A woman get ready in 10 minutes. And look fine, by the way. She wasn't sloppy or anything. It was quite amazing. So we had a nice dinner. We drove her. So I guess I did have a car. I got the car that day, I think, because I needed to bring her to the hotel, bring John to the airport, John the next day, and also pick up John number 2 on Sunday, because he was going to make those sales calls with me during the week. The story is about to get real special. So that's fine. We did that, and after the airport, I brought the car back to the hotel, and John was, I have an early flight, I'm gonna turn in and have a good night rest. I said, okay, I'm going out for a beer. So I did, and I didn't come back too late. And in the morning, I brought him to the airport, came back to the hotel, did a few things. Then I picked up John number 2 for the remainder, well, not the remainder, but part of the week. So this is a Sunday. It's midday. It's beautiful. So John number 2 and we go, I bring him to Mission Beach because I've discovered a lot of things. And there's these houses there right on it's not a boardwalk per se, but you know what I mean. It's like in the same thing. In LA, you have those beach houses, by the beach. And most of them are rentals or Airbnb. Back then it wasn't, I don't think Airbnb was known, or anyways, I didn't know about it. So I guess 2009 wasn't a thing yet. So we're walking by John number 2 and there's this open house of this condo, 1-floor thing, beachfront. Was very nice location. So we just walk in just out of curiosity. And the guy selling the house thought obviously we were a couple. It could happen. So, and we played along because we wanted to see and this and that. And if I remember correctly, I think the price was $250,000. Wow, even in 2009 for beachfront, that's look at my buddy. Says, this is cheap. So he says, well, and I guess the realtor heard me. He says, this is not. Let me explain the concept here. It's not $250,000. It's yours. You can do whatever you want with it. It's partly yours, but there's 8 owners. So you all put in $250,000. Okay, so it's a $2 million property. So yeah, okay. And then you get so many weeks in a year. If there are 8 of us, I think we all get 6 weeks, and then there's like a pool for the 4 other weeks, something like that. But it was still, if I had a lot of money, geez, I really, right there, I'm in the middle of my trip because I landed on a Monday, I left the following Friday. So this is kind of the pivot day. And I know I have to come back one day to San Diego because there's so much to see. So Monday we have to work, and we have all these leads to follow up with. And this morning we had like 5, 6 calls in the morning. We go for lunch at a Subway, and it was before noon, so it was like 11:30, and we had a 1:30 appointment or something like that. So this John number 2 guy, he's the kind of guy that gets me in trouble all the time. So this was no exception. He goes, dude, we're like 10 minutes away from Tijuana. I said, what? He says, that city in Mexico and all those films, the cartels and this and that. I said, oh, no. No. Why? We're not going to cross the border. No. He says, why not? We have time, What are we going to do? It's and then he mapped it out or whatever on his phone. It was like 10, 15 minutes away. Well, obviously Ron gave in, so we went. But you just drive in. There's nobody there. There's no immigration officer. There's no border patrol. There's nothing. You just go, welcome to Mexico, and there you are. You're in Tijuana. But you see on the other side people coming back into the state, or not coming back necessarily, or people coming into the States. Oh my God, the traffic, the amount of cars. I said, we forget it. We're not gonna spend 1 minute here. We're just turning around, and he admitted it was, you better not. Yeah. So we didn't want to be late to the appointment, and by the look of it, we'd be in the line forever. So we turned around. Basically, we were in Tijuana, but we did like a couple of streets and followed the signs back into the U.S. And I've in that period of time, I saw everything. I saw, like it was crazy. And I remember waiting at a street light, and I'm in the right lane, and there's a center lane, and there's a left lane. And we're waiting at the red light. And the guy in the left lane, when it turned green, he just spun around and right in front of us. If I'm not paying attention, then just sit there, because they're not expecting somebody to do that, but somebody did that. Anyways, we go around, and then the most amazing thing I've seen in terms of a duty-free shop is right there in line in the car. As you're there, you have people walking through the cars from one lane to the other, and they have like, if the one has like sweaters and shirts on a pole, and he carries the pole on his back, and then somebody goes like this. He goes to the car and he sells a shirt. This other guy will have pots and pans. This other guy will have radios and, tables. I've never seen that. You're driving through this duty-free shop, but it's not a shop. And of course, John number 2 wanted a soccer shirt for his son. So he waves one over, and I go, dude, we can't. Obviously, I don't know about the laws of the States, so I'm thinking Canadian. And in Canada, if you go to the States for just a few hours and come back, You can't go buy something. You can't buy nothing. If you do, you have to declare it. If you declare it, you have to pay taxes on it. Blah, blah. A lot of people cheat and lie about it. But I'm saying, no, don't buy anything because we'll get in trouble and this and that. And go, relax. Jesus, you're such a freaking pussy. Blah, blah. I said, wait a second here. You're an American coming back home. I'm a Canadian. I'm not going back home. It's weird that we just spent 2 minutes in Tijuana. They're gonna ask questions. And he goes, will you fucking relax? So then he gets the shirt and he goes on, and he liked that design, whatever the colors. He says, I like that shirt, but that's too small. So I said, oh, no. So what size you want? So let's say that's a small. He wants a medium, for example. So he goes, yeah, medium should do. So the guy goes, in the Spanish. And then the guy tells, then from 6 lanes away, you see a shirt coming from one guy to another, like an instant delivery system, way faster than Amazon, folks. And he gets, there we are. 2 minutes later, he has the proper size. And I said, oh, and I'm nervous, and I'm giving him grief. And we're arguing in the car, and then he haggles the guy. I thought, oh, just pay the man. He go, no, I'm not giving you more than $7 or whatever. Anyways, he got his price. He got his shirt. He was so happy. But all I'm thinking is we're going to get nailed at customs. We're going to get, in trouble. And that's the other thing. They're walking through these immigration officers. They're walking through the lanes in the park. Well, not the street, actually. I don't know what you're going to call it. With those dogs, sniffing for drugs under the cars, mirrors. Guys, it's a show. It's like you're in a movie. So, and I'm nervous. And when you look nervous, obviously that's when they're going to examine everything, every corner of your car. We had samples, we had catalogs, we even had a piece of equipment that we were showing to people. It was, we had it at the show, we kept it to show it to, anyways. I said, there's no way we're going to get through this easily. So we finally get to the booth with the guy, and he goes, how long have you been out of the United States? And I say, actually, like 45 minutes to an hour. He says, what did you do? I said, well, we just wanted to spend an hour because that's all we had. And when we saw the lineup here, we said, well, there's no way we can waste time there. We didn't even get out of the car. We just came around. So you haven't been out of your car? I said, no. So you haven't actually been in Mexico? I said, well, we didn't set foot in Mexico, but the car has. And he says, all right, you're good. So I was amazed, and obviously, you see, I told you, you worry too much, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so it worked out fine. We got to the call a little late, and we tell this story to the customer, and this guy said, are you fucking insane? How lucky you got. They could have take possession of that piece of equipment. They could have jailed you. I mean, you don't do that. And I'm going to this guy. Well, I told him, but we got away with it. So it was a very good story I wanted to share with you. And then things, if you do go to San Diego, obviously, I recommend Mission Beach, Belmont Park, Petco Park. So John left on the Wednesday. I had 2 more days, so I went to see the Padres play at the Petco Park. That was a very nice night. They call it the gas lamp district, so it's all lit by gas lamps, and it has a certain appeal. There's a different kind of lighting. It's nice. It's a very nice district. There's Little Italy, and if you go on Arbor Drive, there's a convention center there. There's that's where we were exhibiting the our products. There's the naval base, a big naval base there, and a commemorative thing for Bob Hope and everything he did for USO. The Maritime Museum is very cool. There's a lot of ships. There's actually submarines that you go inside. You can visit. We did that. It's very cool. There's everything there. So I mean, and even at the time you had the, what was it, the Chargers, the football team. They're no longer there, but they were there at the time. Um, and this thing near the naval base. So all I could remember is this bigger than life statue. Like the statues are like, I don't know, 40 feet, 30, maybe I'm exaggerating. And it's a sailor and a nurse kissing. You know, he dips her in kiss. And I wanted to talk to you about that, and so I had to. There must be a name, so I looked it up, and there's actually a Wikipedia page that goes on and on and on. There's a story there, so you might want to look it up. It's called the Unconditional Surrender Sculpture. Apparently, there's an iconic picture from 1945 of a sailor kissing a nurse. And that's the replica of that, because that picture was kind of celebrating the end of the war in 1945 on August 14, which is important to me because that's the date I got married to my lovely wife. So that's a thing to see. So I came back after that trip, and all I could talk about for, months was San Diego. I have to go back one day, and I obviously wanted to show all of that to my wife and this and that. But I mean, there's limitations to the budgets and this and that. So I let it rest for a while, and little did I know that's how life is strange sometimes, or nice. Life sucks often, but life can be nice at times. So 5 years later, so that's not too much longer. Anyways, not much time. So 5 years later is my daughter in September 2014. So like 5 years, I think it's to the date. I landed in San Diego on September 21st or 22nd, and she left on the 22nd 5 years later. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So she left, and we visited her for the first time in October of 2014. So we visited her in Santa Monica. That's where she was living at the time. So we did a few days there. And then I brought my wife to San Diego, and we flew out of there. So I was able to show her all those things I told you about. And one thing more, I hadn't visited the San Diego Zoo when I was alone, so we did that together, which is kind of amazing. And in San Diego, it's like a microclimate. There's something that protects them from a lot of elements, the rain and wind and what, I don't know how to explain it, but apparently. So it rains, or it's beautiful there 320 days of the year, and the 145 days it's kind of hit and miss. So the temperature is like between 22 and 27 degrees. That's Celsius, so 70 and 78 type thing all year long. So that's pretty cool. You don't have those heat waves, and you don't have those cold San Francisco days. So it's a very, very nice place. I would live there I would move there in a blink if I had the opportunity. So there you go, guys. Wow, 34 minutes of blah, 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 meaningless blah, blah, blah. But anyways, look it up if ever you're looking for a destination that you haven't seen in California. Like San Francisco is very popular, and maybe one day I'll talk to you about that. Been there too. And obviously Los Angeles, Santa Monica, so Hollywood, and that's very popular. But San Diego is my favorite spot in California. So that's it, guys. I'll see you, or you'll see me, as I always say, at the end of February on the 28th, because it's not a leap year this year. And hopefully, this first podcast will break the ice for 2025, and I'll try to be as entertaining as I could be for the remainder of the year. And I'm guessing we're going to have lots to talk about. So, see you guys. Have fun. Be safe. See you then. Ciao for now. Au revoir.